Hi, I'm Jane Chancellor, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Anna Katherine Farmer. While many may know AK as the horse girl, or that girl who lives on a farm, I know her as a fun, passionate, beautiful, and kind classmate and friend. Anna Katherine is someone who is never afraid to stay true to herself and the things she cares about. This is perfectly demonstrated by her dedication and passion to barrel racing. She lives part-time in Arkansas doing what she loves the most, while still blessing our class with her lighthearted presence. She even told me just the other day that she had put 5,000 miles on her car in the past month. Not only is Anna Katherine unapologetically herself, but she is also the kind of girl who is always willing to lend a helping hand, and does so with a fun and easygoing spirit. Whether it's an in-depth conversation about her rodeo wins, or just a simple greeting of, "Hey, y'all," in her sweet southern accent that is thicker than most, AK acts as a light and friendly face to those around her. I can't wait to hear all the awesome things she has to share with us today, so without further ado, Anna Katherine Farmer.
There's a huge difference between loving what you do and just doing it because you have to. Some of you may not be aware that I live in both Memphis, Tennessee, and the little city of Black Rock, Arkansas. I spend my summers in Arkansas, and during the school year, I drive back and forth throughout the week. I go to Arkansas to ride horses and to compete in the sport of rodeo. I do this not because I have to, but because I find joy in myself whenever I am there. When I first started riding horses, I was around 6 years old, and although I vaguely remember it, I do remember falling off. I was scared and never wanted a horse to come in my sight ever again. Now that I'm 17 years old, I can proudly say that I now rodeo even though I still fall off all the time. I understand most of you are aware of rodeo, but if I were to ask any of you to describe what barrel racing is, most of you would freeze up. So, let me broaden your knowledge. Barrel racing is a rodeo event in which a horse and rider attempt to run in a cloverleaf pattern around barrels in a triangle with the fastest time. What hurts the most when riding is when your horse decides that he doesn't want you on his back any longer. Back at a rodeo in summer of 2020, I was riding a 3-year-old horse named Gucci. I was training this horse in barrels. This horse and I didn't quite get along, and he made me question myself at times. Gucci was not fully broke, and he would freak out at the change of the wind and buck like a bronc at any given moment. Well, it was my time to make my run at this rodeo. I started to make my way into the arena, and before I even got there, something startled him, and he broke in half and started bucking. I stayed on for 2 hops, and then he suddenly jumped out from underneath me. I tried to find a smooth landing place when I was suddenly jerked back towards my horse. I had been caught in the saddle, and I was now being dragged around by my leg by a 3-year-old horse, making the situation much worse because he was then startled by me dangling from his side. I soon broke free, and Gucci took off running around the outside of the arena, running into any person that was in his way. I got up and limped off, claiming I had hurt my foot, but I had only hurt my pride. Gucci is not my main horse that I barrel race on, of course. I have an 8-year-old horse named Jesse that has a personality like a child, and he's worth more than his weight in gold. He snatches hot dogs out of little kids' hands, and although it's hard to tell if a horse has his feelings hurt, he will be sure to let you know it when he is upset or sad with a small bite or a pin of the ears. Although our outcomes at rodeos are not always what we want, I know that the soul right underneath me has never had a thought cross his mind about giving up. Days when I'm feeling like I cannot perform at a rodeo or that my competitors are just too hard, Jesse goes in the arena despite my fear and runs his heart out. I know that every time I swing my right foot over that saddle, I must forget all of the blood, sweat, and tears that went to our work at home, all for just a 15-second run. Barrel racing is not a team sport in rodeo. Everything that happens in the arena is up to me and Jesse and how hard we've been working to win. If I'm ever feeling down, I better dig something up from out of my gut to get me going again. You all probably think it's dangerous because who would want to sit on the back of a 1,500-pound animal that could literally kill you with one kick and let them run as fast as they can? But what would have happened if I never fell off or got bucked off? I would simply give up, and that's that. If I were just so good and I could win every race I went to, I would not find joy in the sport. There's a new challenge every day. No matter how hard you work, you can always try harder. Determination is a big factor in the rodeo world. Are you willing to drive 2 hours almost every day just to ride a horse for an hour? Are you willing to work with your horse for 15 hours a week just to get to the rodeo and hit a barrel or get bucked off? I'll answer that for you. No. Most of you might think that is completely absurd, but that is what I love about this sport. You can go ask a 5-time world champion barrel racer if they have ever thought about quitting, and I can tell you without a doubt they would all say yes. The idea of quitting is not the lack of ability in the sport, it's that you are in the complete wrong mindset. There will always be someone better at something than you, but don't ever let there be someone who competes better than you. You can outwork someone any day of the week. Why aren't you doing that? Just because it seems like everyone around you is excelling in their life, do not take this as criticism for your own. Instead, use this as a learning experience. What some people who barrel race don't realize is that when they beat me at a rodeo, I am not upset. I use this as a reason to work harder for myself and my horse. Once I win first place at a rodeo, I continue to work with my horse for hours a week because there is always another rodeo. Rodeoing has not been a sport that has broken my hope. Instead, rodeo has given me the ability to challenge myself mentally and physically every day. Many people are shocked that a young girl like me can drive a truck and hook up to a 20-foot gooseneck trailer and haul horses for hours at a time. But one thing that I want everyone to take away from this speech is never make excuses. Always wake up with a smile, knowing that today you are going to have fun accomplishing what others are too afraid to do. The people who say that you can't and you won't are the ones scared that you will. Simply look them in the face and say, "This ain't my first rodeo." Thank you.